You guys are lucky. This guy is hysterical, and you're going to love him. He's been on Tonight Show twice. Here's a finalist in Last Comic Standing. Please welcome Adam Hunter.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you all for coming. You ever think a girl's really hot on Instagram, then you realize it's Throwback Thursday?
I got Adam, man. I've been trying to catch him for a while. I've seen the visit every time he's in town, so I'm glad I got to see the show. It's hilarious from now starting. I'm definitely laughing the whole time. Definitely a good time.
I'm Adam Hunter, and you're watching MMA Roasted.
My MMA news here at the Catch a Rising Star in Princeton, New Jersey. We're with comedian, host of MMA Roasted. A lot of you here know him. Very funny guy. Was on Last Comic Standing. Mr. Adam Hunter. Thanks for joining us, Adam.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for being serving in the Marine Corps.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's amazing.
That's actually one of my questions tonight. I want to talk to you, but we'll jump right to that then. You're doing a tour. You're going to go overseas in about 2 months. You're with a bunch of fighters. Who you got? You got Matthews.
Well, I'm not doing that tour, but good. Basically, I did a tour a couple times. I did about 8 tours overseas. I've been to like Djibouti, Africa twice, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, all through Europe, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. I do a lot of military tours, and a lot of the guys are huge fight fans. And one of the guys who books it was like, hey, I'd love to get fighters over here. So me and my dad put together this thing where we had fighters come over and teach seminars. And Shayna Baszler went over there, and Jessamine Duke, and Cody Bollinger, and couple James Krause, a couple other guys, and Sean McCorkle, and I'm forgetting some, but they went out and they had a great time. The soldiers loved it, and I thought, why not combine comics and soldiers? So we'll have like seminars during the day and comedy shows at night, and the guys are into it. So after that tour that's going out, I'm going to have another tour where I'm bringing a bunch of fighters to do seminars during the day, and then me and a couple comics who do it tonight.
Cool, very cool. I know that a lot of guys would appreciate that. I know if I was deployed, that's a morale booster, something to do. So thank you for doing
And I love the UFC. They came out of the 115-pound women's division, so best of luck to Bruce Jenner.
So, like we said, you're the host of MMA Roasted, very popular show. How did you go from comedy? You've been doing comedy for a long time. Like I said, you were on Last Comic Standing. How do you go from comedy into combining the mixed martial arts element? How did that all come about?
Well, I was opening for a guy named John Heffron, who won Last Comic Standing, a really, really funny comic. And he was hosting the Mixed Martial Arts Award. So he was like, hey, man, we used to watch MMA all the time together. We were on the road. And he's like, I need you to help me write some sketches. So that was the first, or I think it was the second year of the award show. And I helped write the Kimbo Flex and the Randy Couture divorce attorney. And then I got hired every year to do more sketches and to write the award shows. So like I wrote this year, Daniel Cormier's All About That Cake, which got like 40 million hits. And then I did last year, I wrote a Filipino Wrecking Ball with Mark Munoz, as well as I did the MMA Pawn Stars with Randy Couture. The Phil Baroni used car salesman, the Dear Vandy sketch, the Vanderlei Silva as like the advice columnist. So a lot of times, a lot of the jokes I wouldn't be able to use for MMA Roasted. For that, it was kind of like just too dirty for the sketches. It didn't really fit to start an MMA Roasted account where I would just put the jokes all I had for the monologue jokes on there. And then that kind of just blew up. And then Fox Sports came to me and said, hey, I already had an MMA podcast. And they're like, will you put it on Fox Sports? And then they hired me to do the group text chats. And then I do those videos before every event. So that's kind of how that all came to fruition.
This is the best show. I'm happy. I invited Frankie here. I'm just happy that he won't remember this. Listen, because he's been punched. Listen, fuckers, I can't do every...
You're doing something that's pretty cool. The movie you're trying to build right now. You're doing some crowdfunding for it. It's called Pinned. Movie. Is it going to be a comedy or?
Yeah, it's a comedy. I've been coaching myself. I wrestled in high school and a little bit in college, and then I've been coaching out west. I coach a middle school wrestling team for like 10 years. I started a wrestling program, and then I helped start this high school program for the kids wrestling in high school. And the kids actually high school kids took first in like the city in California, in Los Angeles, and they're doing really well. Then a couple kids actually go to the States. I think they have 3 kids who go to States. So for 10 years, I've been coaching these middle school kids, and I always like tell my friends stories like, oh man, this happened today or that happened today, and everyone's like, it should be in a movie. It should be in a movie. So I said, you know what? I should just write a movie. So I went out and wrote this like comedy. It's sort of based on the Bad News Bears meets Kingpin meets Vision Quest meets like Eastbound and Down with like a dodgeball element about wrestling. There's never been a wrestling comedy before. So I went out and I like wrote it, and I just been kind of sitting on it a little bit, going, well, I gotta wait till I become famous to make this. And then I'm like, you know what? I started reading these articles saying that like 70% of Sundance movies were self-funded, and all these people are kind of doing it themselves. It's not like how it used to be, where you have to like sell the script to a studio to get it made. And even when that happens, the chances of you being in the script is not good. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it myself. And we're trying to raise, $500,000. We're probably right now we've raised over $11,000 in a couple weeks, which is good for Indiegogo. And if you go to adamhunter.com, you can contribute. But I think we could probably do it bare bones for like $150,000, $200,000. So I'm gonna take whatever I make and then go to investors and say, look, we have these people involved, and there's an MMA element to the script, so I could have UFC fighters or other fighters in the script. And I think it'll be really good. It'll do for wrestling what Mighty Ducks did for hockey, and make it more mainstream. And I think a lot of people I think the wrestlers deserve their own comedy.
So bottom line, regardless if you make the $500,000, I can lose with me.
Yeah, I mean, with 11,000, no. but yeah,
you're gonna get the sponsor.
I'm gonna do whatever I possibly can to make it movie.
My girl was gaining a lot of weight. You can't tell your girl she's gaining weight, though. She's like, you think I'm getting fat? I was like, trust your gut. We were watching the UFC. She goes, you think I could be a ring girl? I'm like, in the circus?
So last question, as the host of MMA Roasted, part of that is, and we talked about you were doing the text, the fighter text, where you made up text and kind of conversation between fighters. Has anybody ever come back to you and said, hey, you're kind of pissing me off, making fun of me, or? A
little bit. What it is like, I think, 99% of the fighters are super cool with it, and I have had a lot more fighters ask me to roast them than they ever get upset. I've had Mike Pyle, what, you're not going to roast me? Or Kevin Randleman, like, when am I unroastable? Or when do I get a roast? Or I roasted Al Iaquinta. He's like, finally. People are actually getting insulted that they're not being roasted. I've had guys get cut and tell me, even though I got cut, please keep roasting me. Or I have fighters tell me, look, I have a fight coming up. I need publicity, I need promotion. Please make sure you make fun of me. Like, people know that I try to do it in a way where it's not, like most people when they insult a fighter or whatever, they go, you suck, LOL. Or something. I try to do it in a way where it's a joke and it's crafted and it's quick and it's it's not like I'm really bashing the person. I've been blocked by 1 or 2 fighters, and somebody, what happens is like I'll make a joke and then someone will tag the person I'm joking, and if they're not following the account, they might go, what is this? So like Melvin Gillard, for example, I said, Tim Boach is so white, Melvin Gillard tried to snort him. And and then someone tagged him, and then he wrote, what the fuck, or what the hell, and then I go, hey man, I'm a big fan. He goes, what kind of fan are you? But then I showed him the video, and then once he saw the video, he goes, okay, it's a video of me roasting 10 fighters. He's on the card. And then he followed me. He's like, it's all good, man. I'll come on your show. So I've had guys that like get annoyed for a second, and then eventually start following me. And like Danny Castillo's a guy, and then become friends because they realize it's not like a malicious roast, or it's just it's a tough line though. It's not an easy job.
Yeah, I know I said last question, but I'm going to ask you just one more, put you on the spot. UFC 189 next month. Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo.
Who I like?
As a fan, who do you like?
As a fan of the sport or as a fan of the fighter?
A fan of the sport, who do you think is going to take?
Fan of the sport, I would like Conor McGregor to win because I think he brings a lot of eyeballs to the sport. A lot of people people say to me, who's that Irish guy? I mean, people come up to me and go, there's this Irish guy, they know him. They don't necessarily know MMA. That's good. And, I think he brings more attention to the sport than Aldo at this point. This cocky, boastful guy. But as a fan of sports in general, I don't necessarily like his, stealing the belt, touching Aldo, all that kind of stuff. I think Aldo's a little, I'd say be a little more respectful towards the champ and what Aldo achieved. At the same time, it's like everybody who's been respectful has lost. So maybe this is the way to get inside his head. I think Aldo's going to win. I just think he's been in there, done that. The other guy's untested and has 2 losses against guys that are not top 10 fighters. Yeah. I mean, granted, it was 3 or 4 years ago, but there still are 2 losses. So I think Aldo's going to win. I would like for him to shut him up. It would be kind of fun. But it would also be fun for, I don't know. I don't really have I just decided to watch the fight.
Yeah, same here. I think everybody is. I don't want to hold you up. I know you got a show to perform. So thanks for joining us here at Catch a Rising Star.
Thank you for having me.
And appreciate it.
Well, listen, you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great night.
Everybody give it up for Adam Hunter.